I'm risking imminent death by standing on the side of the road, but I wanted to show you this. I forgot about this. I passed it on the way up, but anyway. It's Old Joe. It says, on the day of July 3rd, 1901, a stagecoach driven by Henry Crockett was on its way to the town of Foresthill, when a hooded man appeared with a shotgun and ordered Crockett to stop. To which he replied, "You're only fooling." At that point, the robber shot and killed the wheel horse known as Old Joe. He then robbed the stage and its passengers. Although the robber was later identified as Henry Wise, he was never captured. This plaque and monument replaces the wooden sign that was put here at the site by the Auburn blah blah blah. They claim, or I don't know how true this is. Oh yeah, here we go. This is where he's buried. Old Joe, the stage horse, shot by a stage robber, 1901. And there's one of his little horseshoes. What do you think of that, huh? So now that I'm on a safer area and off the side of the road, when we were looking at Old Joe, the stage horse, I wanted to let you know a little bit more about that whole thing, because Old Joe, the stage horse, was shot and killed, as you saw, on the Roadside Memorial in July of 1901, when the robber, Henry Wise, who wasn't very wise because he was a robber, shot and killed him. And he was the wheel horse. Old Joe was the wheel horse. And in an old time stagecoach, they were generally driven by pulled by anywhere from 4 to 6 horses, usually 6, especially when you're going up and down the hills in the divide. So that particular stretch that we saw, that memorial, that was after about 10 miles or so of pulling straight uphill, because it's just an uphill climb, and it's windy and at the time rocky and not paved. So that's a long haul. And so Old Joe was one of the wheel horses, and the wheel horses in a stage coach, team, they were the ones that were the most well trained, and they were usually the biggest ones because they got everything moving. Then if you had a six horse team, the middle team was usually a little bit smaller and a little less trained than the wheel horses. And then the ones but they were still well trained, the middle ones. But then the ones in the very front were also trained, usually a little lighter and usually a little more flighty, so, but everybody else kind of kept them in check. All the other horses kind of kept the 2 front ones in check. But Old Joe, the wheel horse, he was the one that everybody knew. All the kids knew him. They used to give him apples and treat him, and all the, the stagecoach passengers and stuff knew, oh, Old Joe is here, we'll be safe, everything's cool. And so when they dropped him, when Henry Wise shot him and dropped him right there on the spot, everybody was just devastated, because Old Joe, he's dead. And he robbed the stagecoach and all the passengers, and all he got was $70. And, back in 1901, $70 was still a lot, but it wasn't that much even then. So in the 90s, when Foresthill Road, where the monument is, it was widened considerably. It added a big shoulders on the side. So when it was widened, they took that monument down, because he actually was buried underneath where the original monument was. And you can see the original monument placard in the Foresthill Divide Museum in the town of Foresthill, which we didn't go do because it was closed. But when they widened the road and took the monument away, the town put up a big fuss, because it's like, where's the monument for Old Joe? So they put it back about 100 yards from where it originally was. They put it there where we saw it on the side of the road, and just redid it with it looks more like a California historical marker now. It didn't before, but now it does. And they put the little wagon wheel and the little horseshoe in there. But now Old Joe is buried under Foresthill Road. They didn't move him, they just moved his marker. So he's under the road somewhere. So anyway, that's the story of Old Joe, a little bit more detail than just seeing his little sign on the side of the road there. So I thought you might want to know that. So there you go.